Hey there, history buffs, and welcome to my channel, where we bring the past to life through stories. Today, I am thrilled to invite you along on a journey back in time to the legendary city of Troy. I'll guide you through the historical accounts and myths, uncovering the secrets of how the ancient Greeks outsmarted the Troy and ultimately led to the downfall of this once mighty empire. So get ready to be amazed by tales of courage, cunning, and the power of strategic brilliance. Before we start our tale of intrigue and conquest, allow me to introduce myself. I'm your host, here to make history both entertaining and accessible for everyone. If you're eager to embark on more historical adventures with me, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode. Now let us dive into the captivating narrative of the sinking of Troy and the Greeks' ingenious tactics that brought an end to the Troy Empire. Picture this. The year is 1184 BC, and the stage is set for the legendary Trojan War. The Greeks had laid siege to the mighty city of Troy for an astonishing 10 years. Yet despite their best efforts, they've been unable to breach the city's imposing walls, leading to growing despair among the Greek ranks. The siege has taken a heavy toll, and the Greeks find themselves in a precarious position. Food supplies are dwindling, and the prospect of a protracted conflict seems increasingly grim. The weight of failure hangs heavy in the air. Amidst this disheartening stalemate, the Greeks are faced with a crucial decision. Retreating would mean acknowledging defeat against the Troy, a bitter pill to swallow for the vaunted Greek army. But continuing the siege with diminishing resources could spell disaster for their forces. Desperation breeds creativity, and the Greeks are pushed to the brink of innovation. No longer content with futile frontal assaults, they yearn for a glimmer of hope, a chink in Troy's armor. And who will lead them in this quest for a breakthrough? Enter the enigmatic Odysseus, a name synonymous with cunning and strategic brilliance. Odysseus, known for his intelligence and ability to navigate treacherous waters, both literal and metaphorical, is the beacon of hope in this dire situation. He rallies the troops, urging them to one last valiant effort. Together they will devise a plan so audacious, it will forever be etched in the annals of history. What was this master plan that Odysseus and the Greeks concocted? To answer this question, we must turn to the rich tapestry of Greek mythology, where Homer's Iliad and Odyssey offer us tantalizing glimpses into this intricate scheme. The Greeks, drawing upon their deep understanding of the Troy psyche, decide to engineer a spectacle of such magnitude that the Troy would be irresistibly compelled to act. This irresistible temptation, however, would be a trap of their own design. The heart of their strategy lay in the construction of a massive wooden structure, a colossal horse that would become a symbol of deceit and conquest, the infamous Trojan Horse. But the creation of this iconic horse was only the beginning. The real genius lay in the plan to leave it outside the gates of Troy, ostensibly as a gift to the gods after the Greek army departs. This grand gesture was designed to lull the Troys into a false sense of security, creating an opening for a small contingent of Greek warriors to sneak into the city undetected. Once inside, these elite soldiers would lay in wait, hidden in the belly of the horse until the opportune moment to strike. When all seemed lost and the Greeks appeared to be withdrawing from the conflict, the Troys would believe their greatest challenge had passed. Overcome with elation and a sense of victory, they would drag the massive wooden horse within the city walls, sealing their fate without ever realizing it. This plan was not merely a military strategy. It was a testament to the adaptability and resilience of the human spirit. Faced with seemingly insurmountable odds, the Greeks refused to surrender. Instead, they channeled their collective ingenuity into a single audacious plan that defied conventional warfare. In doing so, they laid the groundwork for one of history's greatest tales of triumph against all odds. With their plan in motion, the Greeks prepared for their final act. They bid farewell to their comrades who would remain hidden within the horse, knowing that their fate was now inextricably linked to this grand deception. The Greek army, with a heavy heart, began its withdrawal from Troy, leaving behind the colossal horse and the promise of untold consequences. As the last of the Greek forces departed, the Troys emerged from their homes, cautiously optimistic about the future. The threat posed by the Greeks had loomed over them for a decade, and now it seemed to be receding, replaced by a strange contraption of wood and rope. Among those who witnessed this unusual spectacle was Lokun, a Troy priest renowned for his wisdom and piety. Upon seeing the massive horse, he recognized it as a potential danger, advising his fellow Troys to destroy it immediately. However, his warnings fell on deaf ears, dismissed as unfounded fears. The Troys, blinded by their own hubris, chose to ignore this sage advice and instead fixated on the supposed gift bestowed upon them by the departing Greeks, overwhelmed by the prospect of ending the decade-long conflict. But Troys readily embraced this apparent blessing, oblivious to the peril it truly represented. In their haste to claim victory, they failed to heed Lokun's call for caution, choosing instead to succumb to their own desires for swift resolution. The celebration of their impending triumph soon gave way to a horrifying realization. As the Troys reveled in their apparent victory, oblivious to the danger lurking nearby, the fate of their city hung precariously in the balance. Would they awaken to the true nature of the Trojan horse in time to prevent disaster? Or were they destined to fall prey to the Greeks' cunning deception? As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the city of Troy, the festivities reached their peak. The Troys, intoxicated by the prospect of peace, cheered and danced around the majestic wooden horse. Little did they know they were dancing on the edge of a precipice, celebrating their doom. With each passing moment, the tension mounted, building towards a climax that would change Troy forever. Meanwhile, concealed within the belly of the Trojan horse, a small band of Greek warriors stirred. Guided by the brilliant mind of Odysseus, they had laid low, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Now the time had come. With the Troys fast asleep, lulled into a false sense of security, the Greek warriors prepared for their assault. As the city slept, unaware of the danger that lurked in its midst, these elite soldiers emerged from their hiding place. Moving swiftly and silently, they cut the ropes, securing the gates of Troy, slipping inside unnoticed. With their blades gleaming in the moonlight, they wasted no time in making their presence felt. The Troy's sentinels and guards were caught off guard, overwhelmed by the ferocity and numbers of the Greek attackers. Within moments, the gates to the city were wide open, allowing the rest of the Greek army to pour in and take control of the city center. Chaos erupted as the Troys awoke to the horrifying realization that they had been betrayed. The once jubilant cries of celebration turned into panicked screams of alarm as the Greeks tightened their grip on the city. The Troy's defenders rallied, desperate to protect their homes and families. But they were ill-prepared for this sudden nighttime attack. Throughout the city, Troy's men were slain and women were taken captive, including the beautiful Helen, whose abduction from Sparta had sparked the Troy's War a decade earlier. The Greeks, driven by a decade's worth of pent-up fury and determination, showed no mercy. As the battle raged, King Priam and his family fled to the temple of Zeus, seeking sanctuary. However, even divine intervention could not save them from the wrath of the Greek army. In a moment of desperation, Priam begged Achilles, the most fearsome of the Greek warriors, to spare his life and grant him safe passage home. Touched by the old king's plight, Achilles agreed to grant him amnesty, an act of magnanimity that served as a rare bright spot in the midst of the carnage. With the city of Troy in ruins, the Greek army prepared to depart. They loaded their spoils onto ships, including the legendary treasure of King Priam and the famed Palladium, a sacred statue of Athena believed to protect the city. The Greeks, their spirits high from their hard-won victory, sailed away from the shores of Troy, carrying with them the echoes of a war that would live on in legend. As the ships carrying the Greek army disappeared into the vast expanse of the sea, the survivors of Troy emerged from their hiding places. The once proud city lay in smoldering ruins, a testament to the destructive power of war. Amidst the rubble and despair, the Troys began the arduous task of rebuilding their lives, forever changed by the events of that fateful night. The story of the sinking of Troy stands as a timeless reminder of the importance of vigilance and the dangers of unchecked pride. The Troys, blinded by their own arrogance, failed to heed the warnings of their wise priest Laocoon, choosing instead to embrace their apparent good fortune. In doing so, they invited their own destruction, paying a heavy price for their fatal miscalculation. Let us also marvel at the ingenuity and strategic brilliance of the Greeks, particularly Odysseus, whose master plan led to the downfall of the mighty Troy Empire. Through their cunning use of deception and their ability to think outside the box, the Greeks triumphed over their seemingly insurmountable foe. In the aftermath of the Troy War, the Greeks carried with them the spoils of victory, including the fabled treasure of King Priam and the Palladium of Athena. These treasures became symbolic representations of their triumph, tangible reminders of their hard-won conquest. The Greeks returned home, their spirits high, carrying with them the echoes of a war that had tested their limits and proven their mettle. As the tale of Troy echoes through the corridors of history, may we learn from the mistakes of the Troys and the triumphs of the Greeks. Let us embrace wisdom, cultivate strategic thinking, and always remain vigilant in the face of adversity. Remember, even in the darkest of moments, the seeds of hope and resilience can blossom into victory. So my friends, what are your thoughts on the epic tale of the sinking of Troy? Have you ever pondered the strategies employed by the Greeks to outsmart the Troys? Or perhaps you've been captivated by the legendary Trojan horse. Share your insights and let's continue the conversation. If you enjoyed today's adventure, don't forget to show your support. Your engagement means the world to me and helps keep the stories coming. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, within every challenge lies the opportunity for triumph. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey through time, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.